All right, welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you were joining me right now, there's a really good chance you just looked down at your hand and felt an absolute wave of panic. You know the feeling? You see this deep horizontal split opening up right at the very base of your fingernail, right by the soft cuticle skin fold. It literally looks like the entire nail plate is lifting up and separating from the root. Honestly, it's a completely terrifying thing to see happen to your own body. But take a deep breath. You are going to be okay, and we are going to get through this together.
You are probably asking yourself right now, why on earth is my fingernail falling off at the root? I mean, it looks terrifying, almost like something is fundamentally broken within your finger. But here's the crazy part. That terrifying gap you're staring at, it's completely natural. There's a very clear scientific explanation for it, and it's exactly what we are going to fix today.
So here's our agenda for today's explainer. First, we'll look at the scary nail gap. Second, why the matrix pauses. Third, what never to do. And fourth, we'll cover your safe home recovery steps. Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, the scary nail gap, identifying the split. So the actual clinical term for this whole ordeal is onychomadesis, which basically means the complete shedding or dropping of a nail plate from the proximal nail fold. I know, it sounds super intense, mostly because the nail plate is quite literally detaching. This isn't just a chipped edge or a standard broken nail. But here is the absolute best, most reassuring part of this whole fascinating biological process. If you look really closely at that deep horizontal gap, you'll actually see smooth, healthy new nail tissue already emerging underneath. Your body is literally already on the mend. How cool is that?
Moving right along to Section 2, why the matrix pauses. Let's talk about the biology of shedding.
Basically what happens is the nail matrix temporarily stops building keratin. This creates a physical gap when the growth eventually starts back up again. I actually love to call this the matrix reset. So the nail matrix is the tissue under your skin that produces your hard nail plate. Think of it like a little factory. What happened to you is that your factory, your matrix, experienced a sudden temporary shutdown in its cell production. In dermatological science, this is known as a mitotic activity arrest. The matrix just completely stopped building keratin for a short time. When it finally woke back up and resumed cell production, well, it left behind a structural physical gap in the hard nail plate. It's kind of like a missing brick in a wall. So, what causes this factory reset? Well, it's usually a systemic shock to your body. Things like a severe systemic illness, a really high fever, hand, foot, and mouth disease, or even a major local trauma right to the base of the finger. You can probably start to play detective and self-diagnose why your body paused its nail production. I mean, did you have a terrible viral infection or a massive fever a few weeks ago? Or actually, did you maybe accidentally smash your thumb in a car door? Here's the kicker. Nails grow super slowly, so the shock that caused this temporary shutdown likely happened weeks or even months before you ever noticed the split.
All right, Section 3, what never to do. This is all about avoiding permanent damage. Now, there is a massive difference in how you handle this situation, and you absolutely need to resist the urge to reach for a quick fix. Gluing and pulling, that traps moisture, risks permanent matrix scarring, and tears the nail bed. Please do not do it. The absolute most common mistake people make is panicking and trying to squeeze wet, adhesive nail glue right into that sensitive, open cuticle pocket to just stick the nail back down. But dermatological science proves you literally cannot glue a separated nail back together. It won't work. On the flip side, trimming and protecting supports new growth. It's non-invasive, and it's completely safe. We want to avoid violent mistakes like flooding that delicate pocket with harsh adhesive and instead just embrace the gentle nature of proper, safe care. I found this quote from the Journal of the American Academy of Dermatology, and it is incredibly eye-opening. It states, quote, "Aggressive handling or premature avulsion of the detached proximal plate can damage the underlying bed and scar the matrix." Now, premature avulsion is just the fancy medical term for pulling or ripping the loose nail off. If you pull at that loose edge, you aren't just causing yourself a ton of pain, you are seriously risking permanent scarring to your matrix. And if you scar the matrix, your nail may literally never grow back normally again. That's a huge deal. It's a crucial piece of research that tells us one clear thing for sure. Never, ever force the nail off.
Okay, Section 4, Safe Home Recovery Steps. Let's get into your daily protocol.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how simple and non-invasive your daily protocol actually is. Here are the 3 steps you need to follow at home. Step 1. Trim loose edges short to prevent snagging. Step 2. Apply gentle barrier lipids to the open pocket. And step 3, protect the area from moisture. Just picture the clean, crisp, metallic snip of your nail clippers safely removing a jagged edge, right? Followed by the soothing, peaceful application of gentle barrier oils right into the base of the nail. It's a really minimalist, raw cosmetic routine, but it will perfectly support your body's natural healing process.
Let's really dive into step 1 for a second, because I cannot stress this enough. This is the most important daily habit you can form. You have to keep the loose nail short to prevent catching and snagging. See, because the old nail plate is detached from the cuticle, it's essentially acting like a loose lever. If you leave it long, it's inevitably going to catch on a sweater or your pocket or a towel, and when it snags, it can violently tear the delicate nail bed underneath, which is exactly what we want to avoid. By just taking a clean pair of clippers and keeping that unattached edge trimmed nice and short, you literally eliminate that risk entirely.
Next up, you absolutely must support the smooth new nail tissue underneath with gentle barrier lipids. Remember, as the new nail plate eventually starts growing underneath, it's actively doing the heavy lifting by pushing the old detached nail up and away. By simply applying a drop of protective lipid oil directly into that open cuticle pocket, you're providing the exact non-invasive protection that dermatologists recommend. It keeps that incredibly sensitive area nourished, and it protects the open pocket from excess moisture that could otherwise get trapped in there.
So, we have covered some genuinely incredible biology today, but I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If your nails are basically historical records of your body's past illnesses, what are your hands telling you right now? That scary gap? It isn't a disaster. It's literally a physical memory of a battle your immune system already fought and won weeks ago. So pay closer attention to your daily hand care. Use those barrier lipids, keep things trimmed, and just let that smooth new growth shine through safely. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.